ask them, would you rather be a cowboy, samurai, or pirate? And I didn't think it was a half bad idea.
Cowboy is such an easy answer.
You need follow-up questions.
First of all, a samurai is essentially a slave in a feudal system. He may not be a peasant, but he's one level above the peasant, and he barely has more rights. And at any moment, if his master decides that he has to gut himself because of some minor dishonor, he has to do it. There is no leaving this without his whole family being massacred. Honor is all. You're locked into this system. You can't step out of line. What was it? Pirate? Oh my God. Enjoy scurvy. Enjoy eating salt pork every fucking day. They do this thing where they take peas and they put them in a burlap sack and they tie the knot tight and they twist it until the peas at the bottom have formed like a softball that's compressed. They boil that and then serve it unseasoned. That's the main thing you eat is boiled peas with nothing on them, salt pork, and that bread. What's it called, Taylor? The
hardtack.
Hardtack is flour, water, salt if you're lucky. And then they bake it not once, but twice. They remove every ounce of moisture. It lasts for decades because there's nothing in it except for the mealworms. There'll be plenty of mealworms in it every day. You'll think of those as protein after
protein. I was just going to say that.
Let's not forget that like you are basically, you said pirate, not privateer. You are a wanted criminal. The crown has a bounty on your captain's head and on your head. You will be hung on sight if you approach civilization. Yeah. Cowboy, you've broken free from the system. You are a hired gun, if you will, for any cattleman service that's out there. Mostly what your job is riding cattle and escorting cattle from Texas to Montana and back on repeat over and over. It's rough, it's tough, but you're free. You have money and you have pussy every town you hit.
You got guns.
Anyone have a different answer or a different reasoning?
You know what? I was thinking about the samurai thing, but he mentioned, being under a shogun your whole life, which it really sucked. And, if someone screwed up, you might have to commence seppuku. So not cool. Did you know, by the way, did you know why?
Don't change the topic.
No, same topic kind of. Did you know why pirates wore eye patches?
Wasn't it like
I'm going to preserve night vision? I'm guessing. Okay.
I just found that out because everyone thinks
just made it up.
It's because really?
Yeah, I guess.
Get the hell out of here. Okay.
I guess.
It's because going from above to below deck, you wanted to keep your night vision, right? So you'd switch them over when you go below deck when it's so dark underneath, or vice versa. If it's lit underneath and you want to go above deck at night, you can see better type of thing, right?
Okay.
So that's why. But I think I have to go with Kyle with regards to the cowboy thing now, because that kind of makes a little bit more sense.
I went with that too. It wasn't for the exact same reasons. It was mostly the sweet spot, I think, of how honorable I aspired to be, right? Cowboys literally rape and pillage for a living. I meant to say pirates. Nobody wants them. They go from, I guess, location to location, stealing, raping, and then running away. Like Hal said, they're always, on the lam. They're from authorities. Nope. That's not the life I want to live. And they're terrible, awful people. The idea of sailing and the adventure appeals to me, but the downsides are too much. On the samurai thing, very little adventure as far as I can tell. I think they mostly kind of like protect a town. And the thought that like if you just freaking say the wrong thing to the wrong person, or like, I don't know, scratch somebody's honor in the tiniest bit that you need to kill yourself now. I don't want to wake up in the morning and live all day long in fear of violating some very difficult to follow honor code. Cowboys, on the other hand, right in the middle. You kind of get back from the world what you put out in it in the cowboy universe. If you're a good person, trouble doesn't follow you quite as much. If you're a bad person, it follows you quite a bit more. And you're still on out and about, living a life of adventure. It's just land-based. I think it's the sweet spot.
I mean, I think everyone would agree. Pirates, worst option by 1,000,000%. That the other, it's really a battle between cowboy and samurai.
There are times when pirate might have been good. Like maybe if you're in the Caribbean.
No, the food is bad. You're on a ship all day. You're surrounded by people who stink even worse than like cowboy.
Everybody's going to stink. Everybody's
only
except
man.
for
But you're
the
sleeping
samurai
under
is the
deck.
only
It's
guy who's
all,
not.
it's rough under there. But you also framed samurai like there was no upward mobility at all, which we know isn't true. You could rank up. You could become a higher ranking samurai. If I were, let's say,
To
like
what end?
a bit of a narc samurai, where like if a different samurai was like talking shit, I'd go to my ruler and I'd be like, he said that you're gay. And then he would be like, thank you so much, Samurai Taylor. You have progressed to level 3. And then like, over time, I could eventually maybe become the Samurai Lord myself. Also, think of the food comparison. If we're just talking food comparison, we know samurais got delicious Japanese food all the time. Pirates lowest by far. Cowboys in the middle, as Woody said on the food thing. And so if we're talking just food, samurai's number 1. If we're talking freedom to ride around and have guns, cowboy's number 1. I still think cowboy edges it out a little bit because it'll take a lot more time to rank up through the samurai system. And if you ever got a little, like rowdy with a joke, you could never do an impression of your overlord. Someone would tell. And so I think cowboy's the obvious choice for most things, but you made it sound, Kyle, like it was 1 pirate, 2 samurai, 100 cowboy. And I think the samurai's a lot closer to cowboy than you're giving credit.
No,
I think you guys are wrong
agree
about
with
the
that.
sailing and the food. I think you guys have this impression that the sales of a Caribbean pirate last weeks and months, when in reality, I think they're docking like every night, every 3 nights. Like, where are you going from St. Martin to St. James? Where are you going from St. Martin to St. James that takes 4 weeks to travel? Like, this is a 30-mile problem you're solving. It doesn't.
Yeah, I was going to add that there are times when especially if you're a privateer working for Spain or England, like going after the other one's ships, then you're kind of like more like a soldier for hire or something like that. You're not
a mercenary
outlaw. You're a mercenary, and especially in the Caribbean, where, like Woody said, you're just hopping from one little island chain to the next, probably eating tropical fruit and tropical women, and doing okay. So to me, it's, if you're that pirate, I'd still take cowboy over that, but I have no interest in feudal Japan.
By the way, one of the best shows you could ever watch is Black Sails.
The CGI in episode 1, as soon as they I turned that on, I got like 3 minutes in, and they're like, "Enemy, avast ye! An enemy's over there!" and they like pan the camera up, and I'm like, "Oh, you should have let us use our imagination there, fellas. You should have described it the way they did when Tyrion couldn't quite see over that wall when all the green fire was blowing up that whole fleet of ships in Black Bay or whatever. Like, if you can't afford to show me a pirate ship battle, describe it to me colorfully. Don't show me that."
Stick with the show. Trust me, it is so freaking good. It's like Vikings level good. Like,
that's high praise. Vikings is one of the goats of like that sort of like ancient combat. Like it.
Being a Viking might be better than those other options.
Oh yeah, Vikings are like totally free. Like their system is very accepting. And their whole like religious system is like super accepting of anything. There's never going to be that moment where like they don't like the way you raped somebody. Like, he raped a man. Awesome. Assert dominance over those monks. Let's rape them all. I'm going to rape one myself.
Dude, you're jacked.
That one. Like
you're jacked as hell. You're like 6'8", you're blonde, and you're showing up to lands where the guys have eaten nothing but, turnips for 60 years, and you're just running roughshod. You're like, "Where do you keep the gold?" And they're like, "In the big church." And they're like, "I'll be having it, and I'll also be eating your quad before this day's out." Like, and then you're just bouncing. Better than Cowboy.
What's eating a quad? Is that
like he's going to come back with a piece of gold, and he's going to cut your quadricep off, and then he's going to fry that up.
His thigh. I see. Yeah. I was like, is that another name for girl?
Yes.
No, I still take Cowboy. I take Cowboy over Viking because
I would take Cowboy over Viking, because Vikings, like, what they did to what was the punishment they got? Blood Eagle was a traumatizing thing to watch, bro.
Yeah.
That was insane.
So they take your shirt off, they tie you down, or they like have you like sort of suspended, arms stretched out, like sort of up and away. and they make an incision on either side of your spine so they can get to the ribs where they attach to the spine. And they take a chisel and they chop through each of the ribs right before they attach to your spine. And then they're able to cut some more and peel the ribs and the flesh out and away, revealing the lungs, which they reach in while you're still alive and pull out and drape over your back. And as you breathe, they inflate outside your body now.
Dude, I read
not
something
allowed to
about
scream or you won't go to Valhalla.
Yeah.
I was already willing to confess it, take your shirt off. It's like I'm still on a cut, everyone.
Yeah.
Can't we do this privately?
Dude, they would have got me if they're like, raise your hands above your head and show your belly. I'd be like, no, I won't do it. But I also I bring a hand down to pull it back down. They cut my fucking head off.